All right, so to what I was talking about at the start of the show. How does it work, Nicholas, that Australia's now got 2.5 million people who work for government? Yes, that's teachers, yes, that's police officers, but not a lot of those people are working for the federal government. There are, 350,000 public servants who work for the federal government. That's up 11,000. The state government's 1.8 million people. That's exploded by 65,000. And the costs of all of this, total $214 billion, and that's up by almost $14 billion from the year before. Now, honestly, you can't have a system growing at that rate, can you?
Well, look, I think governments need to manage their budgets carefully, and they need to manage their HR bills carefully as well. So you don't want government to be any bigger than it needs to be, because that creates a burden on taxpayers. But equally, I think government needs to be the right size for the challenges we face as a society. And so whether it's been a Liberal government or a Labor government, in recent decades, you have seen those numbers of public servants increasing. Why is that? It's because of broader things happening in society. It's an ageing population. Who do you think's caring for those older Australians? It's more often than not people working in government. Increasing number of teachers. Well, that's because servants. As societies become wealthier, they spend more money on education. So you have more people working in the education sector. So I don't want government to be any bigger than it needs to be, but equally, I think it should be the right size for the challenges we face.
Well, $214 billion across all those sectors. Government is fatter than I am, and I'm morbidly obese. Corey?
Paul, I don't think we should bring your waistline into this debate.
Just finding it. Just trying to provide more clips for the internet. There are whole shows dedicated. To having a crack at us.
According to Nicholas's
you want to give a sense of the scale of the thing, do you?
Public servants. Yeah, we've got all these public servants to care for the elderly. Why are we then importing people to pick up the jobs of working in nursing homes? We've got all these people improving the education system. Our literacy, our numeracy, our education system is going down the toilet in the gurgler because it's an ideological thing instead of actually teaching kids what they need to know. Higher education is a giant visa rort. I mean, I can't believe you're defending this rubbish, Nick. The bigger public servant is taking this country backwards, and it's sending us broke. It is just extraordinary. I know you're part of it, mate. I know you're on the drip, right? You're in there and you love the local government and you want to be Lord Mayor and a senator and all that sort of stuff. I can promise you it's an empty vessel, mate. If you become a senator, it's an empty vessel.
Now, Corey, I know we haven't faced off for a while. And you're excited. But I cannot let you get away with these wild generalisations like higher education in Australia is a giant visa rort. I'm sorry, that's one of the biggest and most important sectors of our country. It's educating the next generation of Australian leaders and scientists and teachers and nurses and doctors. And so I'm sorry, I just can't let you get away with that. That's just wildly uneducated. So take a tablet, calm down, and let's get back to some proper debating.